This video is designed just as a very quick walkthrough as to how this website works. If you would like more detailed information as to how each feature should be used, then go to that page and click on the help icon up the top there, and it will give you a more detailed explanation as to how we recommend using that feature. So the home page here just shows you which tasks are active. You can see which students have and haven't done the test or task by clicking on this link here. You can see what's been assigned by clicking on the title and change the due date in here. So these are the pieces of key knowledge that have been set, and you can change the due date by clicking in there and clicking on publish. So that's the home page. In order to create a new task, simply just click on create new. You can do that from the home bar. So create new, and then it's got a list of all the different tasks that you can create. A reminder that the key knowledge is like a flashcard kind of system where students are meant to try and learn the content. The key knowledge test is just that. It's a multiple choice quiz where students are tested on the bits of key knowledge that they've hopefully learned, and it's just a low stake test that could be used to assess how students are progressing, and can also be useful for interleaving. The maths questions aren't multiple choice. You can filter once you've clicked on create new. You can filter by the subject, and then don't forget that foundation questions appear on this side, higher tier questions arrive on that side. Higher tier questions only appear on the right. So for example, vector diagrams is only higher tier, so they appear up here. If I had selected too many questions, I had a mixed ability class and I had 20 foundation questions and 20 higher tier questions, I might want to reduce the number of foundation questions that a higher tier student gets. So I could untick some of these boxes, and in that case the higher tier students wouldn't get that. They only get the ones with ticks in from the foundation side and any higher tier questions. Results grid is for creating a results grid that you would then send out to students, that they would enter their exam results from written papers that you've done in class, which would enable you to track how they're doing over time, but collect more robust data. Videos is just assigning videos, so you could assign it from our database or add your own links. And then the reporting system is like this. So you would first need to click on a year group, so let's say year 11. This shows you an overview as to how students are progressing via the various types of tasks that have been set. The most useful reports are these two up here, so you could have a look at a specific task, for example. You can see which students have and haven't done that task. You can see the average time spent, the percentage that's correct, and if you click on the link you can see which ones they got right and which ones they got wrong. So for example here, if this was my class, I might realise that I need to spend a little bit more time going over LDRs. The reports are downloadable, so you can keep them and use them to track progress and demonstrate progress over time. The other feature is this report here, so by subject, and that enables you to track how your students are doing over time. So if I click on physics, for example, I can filter down and I can see that actually my students are achieving better than expected progress in these topics up here, and not for series and parallel circuits. I could drill down further and see actually they're really struggling just with parallel circuits. If I wanted to set intervention tasks, I could click on a topic, subtopic. So that's a topic. Let me close that back up. That's a topic. These are subtopics. I could click on a couple of topics, and if I click on intervention tasks, I could set personalised activities for students based on each student's weaker areas. So once I've clicked on that link, I would need to add a title. I would need to choose the type of task that I want to be set. Bear in mind that maths will only work for those areas that have calculation questions assigned to them, and our system will pull out the weakest 15 pieces of key knowledge and up to 10 maths or calculation questions. The same is possible for a specific task. So I could click on a particular homework and I could click on set intervention task, and I could decide to set them both tasks in this case, so key knowledge revision, like the flashcards, they have to go away and learn it, and then followed by the test, or I might just decide to do one and not the other, and that will pull out each student's weakest areas based on that particular task, whether that was done at home or in the classroom. Sorry, just to go back, one other feature in the report by subject is you can switch and just see what the equivalent grade is. And if you wanted to see the percentage and how many questions have been set, so you can just see how robust that data is, whether it's based on just one question or whether or not it's based on a large amount of data. And then finally, the other areas, if you have the admin area, is this. So if you're the school admin, then you can upload teachers and students' details and edit those details underneath this tab here, and the grading system can be edited here. So if you wanted to change the grade boundaries for a particular feature, so the key knowledge test, the online assessments, the maths or calculation questions, you can do so and personalise it for your school. And finally, you can set the colours for that appear within the report system. So you might decide that you don't want any colours, you feel like that might be demoralising for students to see that, or you might decide that actually year 10, if it's a year 10 student, being one grade below their target grade is actually fine, and you might decide that that is green. And similarly for year 9, you might decide that 2 or more is actually okay, and I might make that just an orange colour rather than red. Like I said, if you would like to know more detail, then click on a particular feature and click on the help button up the top right hand corner, and you can get a more detailed video. Any questions beyond that, please do feel free to email us. So when students log in, they will see the tasks that have been set to them. So for example, here you can see that this is the key knowledge test that's been set. So if I click on start, it will bring up the piece of key knowledge, in this case ribosomes, and a definition underneath that. If I was struggling with this and didn't really understand what was going on, then I can click on this link here and I could watch some videos at my own pace. So thanks to freesciencelessons.co.uk, we've teamed up with them and we're able to provide you videos for pretty much the whole content. So having watched videos, if I'm more comfortable, I would click on next, for example. Our recommendation is that students don't just try and learn this off the screen, that they actually make their own cue cards and keep them until they've made their cue cards. And then finally there is just a self-test, just in case they wanted to mini-test where they could put their cue cards to one side and just test themselves. So here I get the piece of key knowledge and I need to remember what the definition is. So I might write that out on a bit of paper, or I might write it on, or just do it in my head. So if I reveal that definition, I can say, well, yep, I got that, I didn't get that last bit, so I might click on almost for that one. And then it brings up the next term, or the next piece of key knowledge. So in this case, chloroplasts. Yep, I got that one right. And it will keep going through like that until they've got it right 3 times. If they've got it right 3 times, it will take it out of this rotation. So at the moment it only says I haven't done any out of 4. If I say I've done them right 3 times, then the system assumes that they're pretty confident with that and they know it, and that count will get less and less and less. Students don't have to click on I've finished, but it's up to them, and there are still videos for them if they are getting stuck with these. If students click on I've finished, then they get a list of the ones that they got, almost and not yet. It's just worth reminding students that they need to say that they've got it right 3 times in order for it to end up in this column here. So again, I'm going to go show you what that looks like on the student side. So as you can see, it's now brought up, Paul Mary now has to do a quiz as well. So if I click on start, it's just saying here that if I've had to leave or my computer's crashed, that I can come back and do any questions that I haven't yet done. It won't allow me to resit any questions, but if I haven't yet done them, I can come back to it until the due date has gone past. So I'm going to start, and this is what the multiple choice quiz looks like. So what is a prokaryotic cell? I'd select my chosen answer. Again, if I was stuck, I have got the videos there to help me. If I'm happy with my answer, I'd click next. These options are designed to make sure that students know the answer, so they are quite detailed. They are not one-word answers, but at the same time we're not trying to trick students, so we have tried to highlight key parts of the question that are quite similar so that it's easy to compare. Then finally I can see which questions I've got right and which questions I haven't got right. If I close that, so I can see that I got 50% of them correct, and according to the grading system that is a grade 3. Now just a word of caution, and that is I wouldn't set every piece of key knowledge. The reason for that is if I show you the intervention tasks that we have available to us, provide students with a chance to revisit their weaker areas. So here I can see that this class haven't done very well with that. Now if I was to click on set intervention tasks, so if I click on this one here, it will set them the key knowledge revision and also the key knowledge test, but it will be personalised for each student. So our system will pull out the weakest 15 pieces of key knowledge from that topic or topics that have been selected. So you just need to think carefully about which pieces of key knowledge you set. If you don't want our system to pull those pieces of key knowledge out in the future because you don't think they're that important, then it's obviously vital that you don't set those in the first place. So I'm going to start that again. If I come out of it, I can come back into it, show you some examples of answers that students might give, and just show you what our system does. So if I click on answer, student got 2 out of 3, so they got the calculation part correct, but they lost a mark because they put the wrong units in there. And here our clever system tells them that they only got 1 out of 2, and it tells them why. So it says you didn't convert 20 millimeters into micrometers, and then it gives them a worked example. So I might find this last question a little bit taxing, so I might click on videos and watch a video to help me. And just like in the real exam, it's important that our system will notice if they haven't put the right capitalisation. So if I put a lowercase j for joules, it will mark me as incorrect. If I finish, I can see how many marks I got for each question. If I close it, again it will show me my overall grade. So 62.5% correct, and that is a grade 5.